Welcome to The Back Cover, the podcast that explores the classic soul music of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I'm Karen Williams. Join me and my co-host Steve Williams, no, we're not related, as we flip over the album covers and share stories of the movers and shakers that created, wrote, and produced those iconic sounds. We'll educate and entertain you, all while keeping the music alive. The back cover is recorded from excerpts of our daily radio show, recorded at WLTH-AM in Gary, Indiana. This podcast is brought to you by the Shake and Bake Family Fun Center in Baltimore, Maryland. Got travel plans this year? If so, then take a trip up the East Coast to Baltimore, Maryland and visit Glenn Dowdy's Shake and Bake Family Fun Center. It's right in the heart of the historic Upton community in West Baltimore. So as you travel up the East Coast and need a place to take the entire family, stop in at the Shake and Bake Family Fun Center. Call 410-545-1977 for more information. I hope you all are doing well. These are some trying times for people, but I know we can get through it, especially if you listen to some great music. This is part 2 of the series that we did. Well, it really wasn't a series, it was a radio show that we did on Stax Record back in April. And I hope you will enjoy part 2. I hope you enjoyed part 1. And we'll be back soon with some more brand new podcasts. So stay listening. And I'll also have some news for you about how you can listen to us live coming up in July.
Oh, Stax Tuesday.
Stax Tuesday.
Oh, my goodness. I used to wonder where that phrase came from.
What?
You don't miss your water till your well run dry.
Well,
all them southern phrases, yeah.
A lot of people are feeling that way now.
Okay. I ain't fattening no frogs for no snakes.
Oh, I haven't heard
You ever heard that one?
No.
You've never been south.
And you know this.
You got to go farther than Indianapolis. Now they are reissuing Stax, or whoever owns them. Well, the label is alive again.
They're going to reissue some of their best stuff again on vinyl.
And remember now, Stax label is now owned by Fantasy Records. It was a tape company. Right. They just made cassettes. Same thing that happened to VJ and Chess. They were bought up by GRT, a tape company. But what they bought or what they purchased was
the catalog. Well, the pressing of the vinyl this is the first vinyl availability in years for albums. And the albums are by the Bar-Kays, Booker T and the MGs, Delaney and Bonnie. Don't know them. David Porter and Johnny Taylor.
Coming to you in a minute. Caller, hold on.
Released as part of year-long celebration of the Stax Soul Explosion. This was last year, their 50th anniversary. Go ahead.
All right. Hello, caller.
Hey, how y'all doing this afternoon?
We're wonderful, Brother fine, Paul. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. Appreciating this good history.
Oh, no problem.
On Stax and on music. I got a cousin that he stays in touch with Al Bell.
Al is a wonderful guy. Did you know he's a minister now?
I did not know that.
He was actually a minister,
Rock, right?
Yeah, he was a minister before then. And Al came up with the song for the Staple Singers, "I'll Take You There."
Oh, that's okay. Yeah,
that was one of his sermons, and he wrote it down, and they put it to music.
Wow. Yeah, man. I appreciate you all's history of growing up in L.A. I remember Watch Stax. Matter of fact, my father was the PR director.
Okay.
Of the Watch Summer Festival.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was. So the year after that, this was a year after it was Stax, and then Stevie was there, and others were there. And one of the things I remember as a child, when Tommy Jaquette, who was like the person who ran the whole Watch Summer Festival, they were having an issue, and he invited the Crips to come down and sort of like patrol. And
I think I recall that they were security.
Yeah, they were security.
They were actually paid.
Did that work out?
Yeah. what, dude? You can back me up here. At that particular concert, Watch Stax, they had not one incident, not one fight.
But I would think that would be. How did that work out for real?
Paul,
from my recollection, I'm gonna talk to my father and see if he remembers of some other people in LA, because I was pretty young then. I didn't get a chance to go to Watch Stax. I got a chance to go to the next one. Stevie was there when they kind of opened it up after Stax, the concert. And but from my recollection, there were some issues at when the Crips came down. I think because they were like putting the bees on some people when they were trying to get loose or something. But in terms of the fighting and all that, no, I don't recall any of that, because I remember going to Funk Fest and other events at the Coliseum, big old concerts, where we were not fighting. It wasn't, very seldom you'd have a issue like that. We were just enjoying the music. People would be super high and drunk, but they not too many like incidents like that. So yeah, I remember that. But also one of the things I thought that was interesting, you guys may have talked about it. I went outside for a minute, then I came back in and heard some more. But just to see Confunction in the background of Joe Tex. Like I said, wait a minute,
sure were.
Confunction was?
That was his role band.
I loved Confunction.
Yeah, and they said, and when I saw the Unsung, they were saying, the Barcades are like their brothers, because they're the ones that got them out to Memphis, out there to do their thing out there. And I saw this summer, I saw a concert with Confunction, the Daz Band, and Larry D.
Oh, man. That was
and I didn't know who Larry D was until I got there.
Okay.
Now, who is Larry D?
Larry Dotson, the dude with the wild hair.
Larry for the Barcades, the second,
okay.
yeah. Larry got to be close to 70 now, man.
But he, I had a chance to talk to the concert. I was like, wow, ain't nobody hardly even here. It was at Country Club Hill. And
really?
Confunction, Confunction, 3 original members, including Shelton and Michael Cooper.
Yeah.
They threw down. Larry had left the Barcades. I thought he retired a couple years ago, but he's still performing. He threw down, so I got a chance to talk to him and Shelton Pilot after the concert. And they were both a lot of energy, Larry wild as ever.
We're going to have to talk to those people in Country Club Hills, because they do some good stuff, and they need to be telling people over here about it.
They have.
I agree.
Here's the thing. Larry, was he with James?
No, I guess he was not with James, because again, when I saw Larry D, it took me a while to figure out who it was.
To recognize it. Now, they were the second coming of the Barcades with Larry, James Alexander, Phelan, not Phelan, the other guy, Willie Hall. Mm-hmm. Y'all know the name, but you may not remember. If you ever saw the Blues Brothers, I'm talking about the movie.
Okay, yeah.
He calls himself 2-Bit Willie.
Oh, okay.
The drummer. That's one of the original. There's only 2 original Barcades left: Larry Alexander and Willie Hall. 2-Bit Willie.
Man, and this history is so cool. I have my uncle Paul, who just passed away recently in Vegas. He had wrote a book, and his thing was music. He was an educator and all that, but he got his degree at Tennessee State and did his teaching and work for music.
Okay.
And he talked about, the story there about one of his music teachers that was at Tennessee State with him, and he ended up working with the Barcades and being one of the ones. I got to get the name. I'll share it with you when I find the name.
Now
again.
You know what?
But he was one of the ones who passed in the plane crash.
If you ever hear Shaft, the album version or any version, when it comes on and that you hear that drum on the hi-hats,
okay,
that's Willie.
That's him? Okay.
That's Willie. Willie's on that whole album. Isaac Hayes used everybody, but he always used in-house people.
Man, and again, this whole thing with music, and again, even at a time such as this, you ought to be sharing this good music and talking about this music history is so beautiful. And I just think about D Nice came on and did that thing on Instagram, playing that music early on during this pandemic right now, and how so many people flock to it. And I know D Nice for being a hip hop artist, working with Boogie Down Productions and KRS-One and all them.
Oh yeah.
And so I was kind of like answering, like, oh, I so hope he's not playing that Ratchet Crate stuff.
And it was a surprise, wasn't it?
and it was a pleasant surprise that he wasn't, and people just enjoying the beautiful music. But now before I go today, and I mentioned it kind of early with Jeff, these people who play this current music that's targeting our children, they don't care that this pandemic. They don't care that a couple years ago, 12 people were getting shot every day in Chicago. They're still playing this violent, vulgar, pornographic, dangerous music.
You know why they
gotta be spouted.
They can't tie it together. They don't know how to tie. In other words, they can't believe that the music is influencing people. But oh yes, it can.
Yes.
It always has.
It always man, I was influenced by album covers. When I saw James Brown live at the Apollo 63, the album cover, that was the first time I ever thought about personalized cufflinks. I was like, I'm serious. And when I saw the Temptations album covers, I didn't know anything about. I was crazy about the way they were wearing their hair, man. The shoes, everything. Music can educate you either the right way or the wrong way.
And it's so important, man. I mean, when you talk about that, I think about the George Clinton and Bootsy and Parliament, their album covers back in the 70s. When I was a young
that's art now.
You know?
Sir Nose, D-Boy the Funk, that's art now. That's all art. And you think about these album covers, like, for instance, the Ohio Players. That was porn to us.
Yeah, it was porn.
That bald head lady was fine. I don't care what nobody said.
Well, I appreciate you. I'm listening there.
Take care, man. Bye-bye now. 1370 WLTH. Let's do some business. Are we done with everything?
Yeah.
We're back in a moment. You guys can call in if you want. Don't be scared. You ain't got nothing else to do. 1370 WLTH, the Regent's Choice. On a Tuesday version of the Ride Home, saluting Stax Records. They were signed in 1971. Motown wouldn't sign them because they looked and sound too much like the Temptations. Dramatics, their first hit on Stax Records. What you see is what you get. And no, that ain't none of L.J. Reynolds. That's William Ouija Howard. I love that. Oh. So who is the man who protects you from brother man? Shaq. They say Shaq is a bad mother. Shut your mouth. But I'm talking about Shaq. This is the short version. Because, you know.
It's like 900.
Yeah. Anything by Isaac Hayes.
Got to be over 6 minutes.
At least.
And that's the short version, the 6-minute version.
I salute the Stax Records. Oh, yeah. You know, Al used to say he went to Detroit one time on a trip, and he noticed how on the house where Motown Records did all of his work, they so affectionately put Hitsville, USA on it. And if you ever been to Memphis or you've seen pictures of Stax Records, it's an old movie theater with a marquee that's still up. And he said what inspired him was they so proudly displayed that Hitsville. He had to find something that exemplified Stax. So he came up with the word Soulsville. Because if you really listen, really listen,
right,
that is what they meant by Southern soul, because most of those artists, most of them, were either out of the South or had South connections.
Didn't the people from Detroit?
I said South connections.
People from Detroit were from the South.
Yeah, but what they were based in, I'm saying Stax now. I ain't worried about anybody else. Yeah, they were from the South. I give you that. But if you listen to a Motown record, it's more polished. Well, it's polished.
Stax
let me finish. Let me finish. They were polished. That's what Rufus Thomas used to say. They were polished to get. You never had a Stax artist get into the Copacabana. They didn't even worry about it. They could care less about getting into the Copa. Whether they sold or crossed over, they really did. Al Bell didn't give a damn. He really didn't. And if you saw him today, he would tell you the same thing. But Stax stayed. They stayed. Fried chicken, catfish, collard and turnip green, cornbread, mashed potatoes. In other words, they stayed true to the soul of the South, be it with black or white, and they fuse all of that together. Mm-hmm. All of it. So that's what I'm saying. Soulsville. If you look at that word, that's exactly what you heard. Because no one had any idea that the Memphis Horns were integrated, Booker T and the MGs integrated, the Marquis integrated. They now Motown and Funk Brothers, it was Dennis Coffey and a few other guys. They were white, but the majority of them were black. Okay. But then when you go down to Alabama and go over into Muscle Shoals and find a group of white guys, and I'm not saying this to be racial or anything, but they were funky than an unwashed armpit. And we're talking about the Swampers. That's how Atlantic and Stax sort of kind of fuse together. Got it?
Yes, I have it.
I'm done.
Are you?
Hope you enjoyed that, guys.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you really?
I'll do. You got anybody want to say anything now? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Are we going to do chess?
We probably will mix chess with VJ. Saying that there. We'll probably mix chess, VJ, and Brunswick. All three together.
Because?
They all were based on South Michigan Avenue. And they were the sound of Chicago at that time. And probably some ABC Paramount.
And why is that?
Because Curtis Mayfield and the Impressions left VJ and went to ABC Paramount.
So actually, it's not the records you're going to be doing, the record companies. You're going to just be doing the sound of Chicago.
Pretty much so.
Because we had said we were going to do that one day. You have been telling people that. Say, I would do the sound of Chicago one day. And then when I do the sound of Chicago, you can't leave Gary out.
No,
so we'll do
ain't
the
no way.
Sound of Chicago, Gary.
Gary is the sound of Chicago. Uh-huh. It really is. It's part of it. Uh-huh. You can't say Chicago and not say Gary.
That's true.
You can say Gary and not say Chicago. But they both are kind of like fused together.
Yes, they are.
They are.
So we're going to be doing the sound of Chicago, Gary.
The sound of the Midwest.
Well, that's Detroit.
Would you just give me a break?
I'm telling you.
I take an inch. She won't take 2-3 miles.
The Midwest.
Come on, Friday. Please come. Hello, Friday. Are you there?
The Midwest is Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Detroit. You can't
we're gonna do
Ohio.
We're gonna do the sound
of the Midwest
of Chicago. Tomorrow.
Okay, you're gonna do the sound of Chicago, which is also inclusive.
And there were so many groups with Stax, I couldn't cover all of them.
No, I know that.
You
did the highlights. Mm-hmm. I think you did real good.
It's not about what you think.
I do.
It's about what they think. Okay.
I'm here saying you did real good.
Something like that.
I know.
So Soul Promoter with Brunswick, you'll have your boy Tyrone in his golden days. Well, you know. It would say, I know I got the shit thing with my Savior. Ollie and the Nightingales. That is the group that got David Ruffin out of Why Not, Mississippi. Oh, man.
And they were on Stax.
They were on Stax. Well, they started out on some independent label. But when they finally got there, they were signed with Stax. And they changed their name from the Dixie Nightingales to the Nightingales. Then it became Ollie and the Nightingales. So there you have it. Hope you guys enjoyed the show.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Back Cover. We hope you enjoyed it. And if you'd like to subscribe to our podcast, just go to Stitcher or TuneIn. Please join our Facebook page also at The Ride Home from 2 to 5. See you next time.